That's an excellent question. First off is that when we look at entrepreneurship and the records they have, this would be people who have been registered in the system. So you have some form of formal registration with CAC. So the number is actually higher, those who have not registered with
CAC.
Yes, Corporate Affairs Commission. And entrepreneurship in that sense now becomes who is solving a problem in exchange for value. So the lady who is selling akara, who has been doing it and has taken care of her children through university, is an entrepreneur. We have the people who are hawking things. They come out in season to sell maize. They are entrepreneurs. They're in that ecosystem. So we have quite a number of them. Some are incidental, as he rightly mentioned. Some actually intentionally go out to do this. And that's why two things happen in the entrepreneurial space. We're having people fail in terms of the products that they bring out. So coincidentally, what we found is that 9 out of every 10 ideas are failing within the business.
9?
So 9 out of every 10 ideas within the business fail. So the people who recognize those failures and pick the winning product are the ones who we see that we work with most of the time. But there's a high failure rate. But it's not a bad thing. It's just that, as he mentioned rightly, there's a mindset. You need to see that not everything that you thought of is what the market would accept. Then we now have 5 out of every 10 businesses also going out. Because most of those people who fail are now the incidentals because they went out of necessity. They weren't really strategic. They weren't thinking, how do I sustain this? So the minute they hit a roadblock, they fail. Now, what have we done? We've said, look, there's a huge challenge in the market space, and there are many myriads of problems. You can't go about solving all. So what we've done is to partner with even them. We've had SMED come and facilitate some of our programs. We now found key business support organizations. And we said, okay, if you have a high number of members, like the Africa Women Business Network, which has over 70 associations, not even members, and each of those associations, it comes out to almost 4 million entrepreneurs within their network. So say, okay, if we support the associations, then it makes it easier for them to cascade. That's one strategy that we've devised. Instead of running around looking for entrepreneurs, let's look for the associations that are already supporting the entrepreneurs, and then we can now make headway. That's one. Secondly, as I said, we've also decided to look at some key issues that entrepreneurs are facing, especially those in the agri space, because they form a huge majority. So what we've done right now, we're currently working on a program with the Export Promotion Council. We're coming to Smedan to deal with states from the national policy side. It's important to work with what the country is working with, so that Nigeria is not going in a certain direction and then we're going in a certain direction because we think it's okay. So there's the one state, one product scheme, where every state has identified commodities that they have comparative advantage in. And then there's an alternate. So what we have done now is to say we're currently at the mobilization stage. NEPC is helping us to mobilize MSMEs in that area within the states that are operating within those product lines. So what will happen? One, they're going to be trained. Sustainability. And sustainability is not just how do I keep my environment clean. Sustainability has to do with profit. A business that is not profitable, you cannot say is sustainable. You cannot sustain a business that is unless it is profitable. So we're going to take them through a sustainability program. That mind shift is important, because if they don't see it, then they can't achieve it. Secondly, the market access activities. So if you have trained people to produce to a certain standard, they need to have access to where they're going to sell it, which is also a huge problem for a lot of entrepreneurs. So that gap is also something that we're working on. We've already designed it. So that's the phase: mobilize and train. Next is give them access to market. And exposing them to marketplaces, there are 2 ways we're doing it. One is a digital directory. So they can have online presence at no cost. So they put themselves up on our platform and at no cost. And we expose that platform to as many people in the world that, look, these people have been trained and you can have access to them. The second is actually taking from the group of those that train, because you would find some will bubble up. They trained 20 and 7 bubbled up. We're even looking at even a 10% margin. So those that bubble up would have further hand holding to actually take them to specific markets to help them, expose them one-on-one to people in markets.